Hey, what's up, everybody? Doing another live stream here and hoping to talk through our Puget Sound salmon seasons. And while we wait for a few folks to join, because I really want to do this live more than just an edited video, because I want your questions and the things that you're curious about, concerned about. A month ago or two, we did the forecast. We walked through all the Puget Sound salmon forecast. Since then, North Falcon has gone through all the different meeting processes, and it has concluded. And now we have our tentative seasons. They're not yet locked in, but they're tentatively out there. I haven't seen the list of agreed fisheries fully signed and agreed to yet, but that's kind of the next phase of the process. But WDFW did publish the tentative seasons. They're pretty similar to last year, with a little bit more opportunity on the coho side, some challenges on the chinook side, and on the sockeye side, it's a big boost in terms of forecast numbers. Again, we're going to walk through it all, but feel free to drop your questions in the chat and your comments, and try to make this a little more interactive, which is why I'm doing it live and working through it there versus trying to make a video, so that I can take the things you're interested in and respond accordingly. I have lots of pictures and resources and things available to be able to respond to what you might be concerned about. But while we're waiting for a few folks to join, quick update on me, what I've been doing. Wrapped up the beginning of the month fishing for Columbia River springers, which, as always, is a grind, right? It's always a self-imposed torture fest. The springers run was a little bit down compared to last year, but we still got our fish. We had our opportunities. We would have liked to have had a few more, but I finally got a full bite and fight on video. So while I'm waiting for a few folks to join, I will share this. This was in Clifton Channel near Cathlamet. This is a little clip of our trip. Look at the rod on the right. Focus on the rod on the right. You'll see the bite.
Dang, that was a pair.
We just marked a couple fish.
You get a mark? Two? One on top of the other.
That was the initial bite.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Take it.
It's funny, when you're fishing the Columbia River, you have so little line out.
Fuck, get all my shit in.
They're like right at the boat, right away, right? Versus downrigger fishing, you gotta, get them down from wherever. You're like super nervous too, because you've been grinding for hours before you finally get your bite sometimes. So it's like, don't screw it up. I know that's what Connor was thinking. He's the one netting here. He's like,
get all that shit in the boat. Oh, shoot.
Oh, I missed it. Come on, Connor.
Oh, shoot.
The worst thing is you got those cannonball droppers. So if you stab and you miss, like you hook that cannonball in the net, like it's over. So this time I like put my thumb on the reel. I was like, this fish is going in the net.
Get him. Check it. It's hatch. Nice. Hey.
Springer in the boat. Feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Feels pretty good.
Fucking A. Yeah. Get the shit back down.
All right. That's and then one other quick bit of pre entertainment before I dive into the Puget Sound Salmon Seasons and walking through them is go ahead if you haven't looked at the channel recently, take a look at the Sock Skagit steelhead float trip we did. It was incredible. This is just a little 1-minute trailer.
Where does what now?
I said, where does this rank for you in terms of all the different places you go, all the different places you fish? Like, where does this rank?
This is like therapy for me. Like steelhead are easy to catch but hard to find.
Yep. All right, go check that out if you get a chance. The Sock, floating the Sock, the Skagit was, I mean, that was, in my opinion, I mean, that was a trip of a lifetime. We went with guide Kerry Hoffman, and just incredible. I know, you know, we won't have anything to worry about there till 2025. Hopefully, there'll be a season with a large enough return of natural origin steelhead. But definitely check the video out. Some of my favorite footage I've ever captured fishing. Just absolutely beautiful. We got 2 steelhead on the trip that we released. One about 12 pounds, the other about 18 pounds, which was pretty awesome. All right, so one other quick note here. The last thing we've had for Puget Sound Salmon Season open was CQ, Marine Area 5, right? And it closed, I think, last week. And, if you're familiar with any of my website, my charts and things like that I do, here's the krill chart for, see, I don't know if you can see that. It's a little small on the screen here, but the blue bar is fish caught. The orange line is the angler effort, and it's kind of a bummer we didn't get a full season out of CQ. Largely because the test fishing boats that WFW runs up there had too many sublegal encounters, and if you looked at my article about Marine Area 10 closure last year and how they calculate that, you can get an idea of how that works. And it's unfortunate because it's a small sample size that determines whether a fishery opens or closes, and we're working on that with the department, different ideas, but unfortunately Marine Area 5 closed. So the only thing open right now is Marine Area 13 until we get to the June 1st Marine Area 10 coho opener, which is currently in the set of tentatively agreed upon Puget Sound Salmon Seasons, unless you count the Tulalip bubble, right, which usually opens towards the end of May. But let's kind of get into it. So as I said when I first opened up here, the process, the North of Falcon process, largely complete. Most of the public process is complete, although I think you can still give them feedback. And the last live stream I did was a couple months ago, talking about the forecast and kind of where we're at, the initial where we're at. And a lot has happened since then. The whole process, this is probably the most invested I've been. I attended several of the meetings in person, many conversations with insiders. I'm the chair of the Puget Sound Wreckfish Enhancement Fund Oversight Committee. Which is largely gives advice to WFW about how to spend the fund that the legislature approved for raising blackmouth 25 years ago to get more people on the water outside of the primary summer salmon seasons. But in many ways, I'm kind of an outsider, right? There's a few folks who are really connected to the process, and I was working with several of those folks throughout the North of Falcon. And one of the things that I bring to the table in all those discussions is, my background is in big tech. I had a career in big tech for 20 years, and that's how, while I'm from Pacific Northwest, born and raised here, and fishing all my life, that's something that I bring to the table with being able to look at some of the data sets. If you've paid attention to any of this process, it's super technical. It's fishery science technical, but some of the things that in my background definitely translate over. So I'm able to help out with those insiders working through the political process with the department and looking at some of the massive data sets and things like that. So I have a little bit of that lens that I'll share. But on one hand, there's good news, right, with regards to additional coho opportunity. On the other hand, the issue with the whole process throughout the whole time comes down to where we landed with the stocks of concern, right? So I think I shared this a couple months ago. It's changed a little bit, but this is this is kind of the executive summary that we look at, a lot of times for the natural origin stocks of concern, and just looking at where we're at in this metric called exploitation rate, the ER for short. And so the primary issues have been the S rivers, right? That's kind of where we've been at for the last few years. It's been the Still-Squamish that's been a problem, but last year it was the Snohomish, and then this year it was also the Snohomish. And so we had a lot of things to work through, and we had to cut some of the quota in marine areas just to get our full salmon seasons in Puget Sound, largely because of the Snohomish, a little bit from the Still-Squamish. So that continued through the whole process, and we tried really hard throughout the whole process to have a freshwater season on the Skykomish. There's a massive amount of hatchery chinook headed for that Skykomish River, and that summer chinook fishery has been a mainstay in the Puget Sound for many years. And so that was super challenging. We could not figure out a way to get that freshwater, the river season open. And in the end, we actually ended up having quotas similar to last year on some of the marine areas, which the department has modeled because of increased effort, other factors, that if we have the same quotas, we might have slightly shorter season. So I think there's a little bit of trepidation in a few areas like Marine Area 5, 9, 10, having to not have as much quota as they wanted for having a full season. But we'll get into that here in a minute here. So, but let's go through this. So this is my page on the pnwbestlife.com, Puget Sound Salmon Seasons 2024, and we'll kind of walk through it. Marine Area 5, not really much different from last year, right? You still have a July 1st opener. Again, let me just put this out here again. Any questions? I'm doing this live, so I could take any questions you might have live and give you answers. Drop in the comments later on when this video is uploaded to YouTube. I will still, respond and there as well. But I'm hoping for this to be a little more interactive. Additionally, what's up here are tentative seasons. So the way the process goes is the LOF, or list of agreed fisheries, gets signed off by the department and the co-managers before things really become finalized. And to my knowledge, that hasn't happened yet. It was supposed to happen last week. I'm not sure where it's at in the process, but I don't think it's happened yet. So these are the tentative seasons that WFW has published. May have some slight tweaks from here, but this is kind of what you can expect. So we're going to talk through it because this is most likely where we're gonna land. So Marine Area 5, other than not getting as much chinook quota as they hoped, will basically look similar to last year. July 1st opener, 2 fish limit, 1 chinook maximum. Another could be a hatchery coho. Just if you're new to fishing Marine Area 5 CQ, early on in this time frame, the mark rate on coho is really bad. Sometimes it's 9-1 unmarked fish. Sometimes it's 20-1 unmarked fish. So, that's something to consider. That it really gets better, as the main push of ocean coho comes in, and this is a season that a lot of folks enjoy, which is the well, not too many because it's not very crowded up there when the season's going on. I haven't made it up there yet either, although I'd like to. It's just right kind of in the prime of some of my muzzleloader hunting season. But the September 27th, October 15th is non-selective coho. So you got these big, wild, aggressive coho that you can retain, 2 fish limit, that are around that area. And some folks really, really love that opportunity. So that's pretty cool. I remember a few years ago we did not have that non-selective season, so it's cool that that's still going strong. And really, the coho in general in Puget Sound has been is looking to be good this year. Hey, PNW Adventures, see your comment there. Appreciate it. CQ is incredible. You have to give it a shot. And most of the time during the summer, you can get out there and fish with it's decently sheltered because of the way the land is positioned, and a lot of times you have west swell or southwest swell. That land cuts that swell. If you get a northwest swell, all that's coming right to CQ. But most of the time you can get out there in a smaller boat, fish really effectively, and have an absolute blast. So definitely something you got to do at some point. PNW Adventures. And then again, Marine Air 5's looking to have the same blackmail season as it had this year. So April 1st to April 30th. I didn't make it out there this year for that. My opportunity to do that sort of went to my Columbia River Springer season. I had to pick and choose. And then I went turkey hunting, which was more of a learning experience because that was my first time turkey hunting. So I didn't make it out there. I really wanted to. I love that combination of bottom fishing and salmon all in one during the early spring. So I was really looking forward to that. So maybe next year, 2025, I'll get out there. But so that's sort of positioned to be the same way. Again, these run timing graphs, again, super helpful for anyone who's researching trip planning resources. We've got, I think we have the best trip planning resources on the internet. On pnwbestlife.com. That's really what I'm trying to do here. Bringing digital tools to help you, tackle some of these fisheries and learn new fisheries. And this is one of those. So this is many recent years of creel reports that are aggregated, and you can kind of get an idea what days have higher catch rates. So, CQ is fantastic for Chinook fishing. Most of the time it's open. However, there are a number of years where the best fishing is thank you, PNW Adventures, appreciate that. The best fishing is in the first few days of the opener, and it's still good, but it noticeably drops off after that. There's a lot of Chinook that are in and around there. Now, if you can fish deeper water, and get your downriggers down pretty deep, you can still intercept those Chinook on much greater depth lines. That's not something everyone is set up to do, but the shallower fishery that happens, on that 120-foot line, 90-foot line, or closer in, the best opportunity for that is usually in that first few days, and then it can be hit or miss after that. And that's why you see kind of the success rate dip after that initial opener. So, and then you can see this for coho. Why is this? You'll catch a ton of coho out in CQ during this time, but most of them will be unmarked, and you have to release those. So you're really looking at the coho success rate climbs to very near one fish per angler in that beginning of September. So you can take a look at that there and then really peaks at about this looks like what, third week of September, second or third week of September. So is when the bulk of those fish are around CQ. Marine Area 6, Port Angeles. I love fishing Eddie's Hook and a bunch of those spots. And as we go through the process and went through the process, because of when some of the impact studies were done and the coated wire tags were recovered, and some of the stocks of concern were not recovered in quite the same quantity around Port Angeles. They've had better quotas there, and so if I was going to fish the Strait early on in July, I would seriously, strongly think about Port Angeles Marine Area 6. It's a little more family friendly too. If you've got wife or kids in tow, you can rent a house, a Verbo or something, and run out. Done that a number of times when my kids were a little bit younger, and it's not where CQ is kind of like it's fisherman town. It's a fishing village. That's what goes on there. Port Angeles is a little bit more varied, and your wife might not give you as hard a time for taking her there to Port Angeles. And but the seasons, you got 2 fish limit on a hatchery Chinook, hatchery coho. That's pretty awesome. So if you can get it done around Port Angeles, on Chinook, you've got a great opportunity. And the crabbing is better in Port Angeles. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's part of the summer salmon experience. I've never quite figured out the crabbing around CQ, but around Port Angeles, you can drop pots in the morning off of in the harbor there, go out, catch some salmon, come back, crab feast. Sometimes they even have shrimping open too around the same time, and you can triple up. I've done that. That's pretty spectacular as well. Again, if you got a question about anything regarding North Falcon, Puget Sound Salmon Seasons, feel free to drop it in chat. We'll definitely address them, answer them. All right, so here's kind of the run timing graph for Chinook and Chinook catch. It's just steady as long as the season is open. They're catching fish pretty steadily. There, it doesn't go as I don't think it's quite as good as CQ when CQ's on fire, but the people out of Port Angeles get their salmon, pretty consistently between 0.3, 0.5 Chinook per rod, which is great numbers for Chinook fishing. So give that a consideration, in your early July, mid July, late July, whenever you're fishing. It looks, even if it goes into August, it's a good bet. So, let's look at Marine Area 7. So now we're into kind of the Puget Sound areas that are a little more sensitive, right? So, and I want to talk a little bit more about this. There's some eye-opening data points about Marine Area 7, and it's one of the things that stands out to me is going through this process for the last few years. The Marine Area 7 people are very, very unhappy for good reason. I mean, they feel like largely they've been taken off the water since the Chinook management plan has come into the picture, and so the steel Squamish has been a constraint, and most of the impact on steel Squamish fish comes from Marine Area 7. I mean, they used to be able to fish almost year round for Chinook, and no longer can do that. We're down to a couple of days. There's no blackmouth season again, and now we've got a few 3-day openers, which are going to be influenced by the quotas and the catch and all that stuff. So really feel for Marine Area 7, but towards the end of the process, I uncovered a data point that if you're a Marine Area 7 salmon fisherman, you're going to want to stick around to hear, because it's definitely eye-opening and concerning in terms of how the whole process is playing out. But the important thing to know about Marine Area 7, 9, 11, 10, all of these prime summer Chinook areas in Puget Sound, they're all going to be synchronized in July to open around the same time. So take a look at this. So 7 and 9 will be similar. Thursday through Saturday only. July 18th through 31st. Maybe add more if we haven't hit the quota, but the Chinook run is at all what it's supposed to be. Don't expect these to be extended by any means. In fact, they may not even get their full run of days here, and may close early. So now Marine Area 7 did get some additional opportunity again with regards to coho. Some of this because the Skagit coho run that's expected to come in 2024 is fantastic. If you do a bunch of river fishing and saltwater fishing, you want to pay attention to that, because the Skagit is has a bumper crop of natural origin and hatchery origin coho, and we don't have any major stocks of concern in regards to coho. So we got more opportunities. So take a look at this. You've got September 1st to 29th coho season in Marine Area 7, 2 fish limit. What do you notice about that? It's non-selective 2 fish limit. That's pretty awesome. I can't remember what it was last year. I don't believe that was it. I think this was a victory for 2024 opportunity. You can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I believe that this was a big deal. 2 Marine Area 7 anglers. So, and then it's also open August 1st, August 31st. But it's a selective coho season during that period. So still 2 fish limit. Okay. When it comes to Chinook in Marine Area 7, it is go when it's open, right? That we all know that. Not going to spend a ton of time there. You can see from the coho, though, the opportunity really, really climbs in that like latter half of September. Great opportunity, especially with non-selective fishing for coho in 7. I'm going to skip 8-1, 8-2 for a second because I want to stay on this whole Marine Area 9, 7, 10, and 11 Chinook opportunity here so that you can kind of see what's going on. So, all right, we're on to 9. Very similar to 7. Thursdays to Saturdays only, and 2 fish limit, 1 hatchery Chinook. All right, it's going to look familiar there. A lot of folks like to hit mid-channel bank early on in that, and then later on, point no point and possession will get a lot better as well. I think that's kind of how it went last year. And I certainly experienced a little bit of that. I got 1 day out of it last year, hoping to go more this year and get more experience up there. And then we've got a non-selective last week of September coho season, non-selective in Marine Area 9, which is pretty cool. Possession can be absolutely lights out right during that time. So, and it's selective August 1st to September 23rd. So that's pretty consistent with previous years. Timing the run again for Chinook, when it's open, you get out there and you fish it. That's just the way that goes. So, and then coho, you could see the opportunity really picks up in that mid-September. It's pretty solid for coho in Marine Area 9, but obviously you can get them earlier or later than that as well. So, all right, let's go to 10 real quick. Okay, here's the first curveball you get. So 10 is going to, first of all, 10 is our earliest Puget Sound salmon opportunity for the summer, right? Because you get the June 1st non-selective resident coho season, which is one of the topics that we had many discussions with the department about was this whole idea of when the resi coho season would open. If you were a Marine Area 10 fisherman last year, you were pretty frustrated because right when the ocean coho came in, we went down to a 1 fish limit. Super frustrating. We caught just ridiculous amounts of resi cohos, which is great, but no one wants to make that trade of trading these 3-4 pound resi coho for potentially much larger ocean coho quota. So we're hoping to avoid that again, or we're hoping to avoid that in 2024, but the seasons look largely the same. So I suppose one of the things is if we're trending really high again, we can dial it back. But additionally, we don't have the same stocks of concern on coho we had last year. So everyone's kind of hoping, we'd like to have more time in the water. Love all that. Open June 1st. That's great. We do not want to be curtailed on coho harvest as the ocean coho are coming in again. So this is definitely something to watch. June 1st, beginning of that opportunity should be solid there. And then you'll see for Chinook, again, July 18th to July 31st, it's going to be synchronized with Area 7, Area 9, and we'll get to it in a minute, but Area 11. And this is important because one of the dynamics is, right, you got to spread the effort out. If one area is open and other areas aren't, this is we travel to what's open kind of area in Puget Sound. And so this is really important for keeping folks local, keeping them on their local fisheries, and spreading effort out, which should hopefully allow us to have more time in the water overall. So, but once you get into August, it's full go. It's 7 days, 7 days a week open. And, this is important because everyone wants to be on the water as early as possible. But if you look at these catch rates, they really explode in right at the end of July and right into August. And, last year, that's what happened with our test fishing data, right? We had a nice early mid-July opener in 10, and there was not a ton of adult fish around. Some of the charters won't even run trips that early, but there's a lot of sport anglers out there and the test fishing boats hooking a lot of sublegals until the last few days of July, when the adults really pushed in. And according to the math of the test fishing data, they recalculate that. It closed, reopened, and then we got a few very short time span communicated openers to finish off 10. And we eventually got our fish in 10. We actually did get our fish last year in 10, but made people very unhappy, combined with the coho one fish limit when the ocean coho were showing up. The department, the advisors, the rec community, all of us, we're trying to avoid the debacle that was 2023. So hopefully we'll do that with some of these differences in how the seasons are being run. Let's look at 11 real quick. So, June 1st is going to be the coho, Resi coho opener in 10. June 5th is going to be the Wednesday through Saturday Chinook opener in 11. We did some damage on the Chinook last year in 11 June. It was fantastic. The sport angling community, we got a lot of nice fish in that season, and it closed early because we got the fish really fast. So we're looking for a Wednesday through Saturday this year and hoping that season will go the distance. But if you haven't watched this video about how to catch South Sound Chinook, there's a lot of information about the timing of it. What a lot of people don't realize is that June is still kind of like a blackmail season in 11. There's a lot of fish from all over, North Sound, Columbia River, all over. They push deep into the Sound, into the South Sound. They're in Marine Area 13 in May. They're going to be around 11 in June. And those fish are out there. They're just feeding. They're close to the bottom. You fish it just like a winter blackmail season with jigs, or there'll be a lot of dogfish in there. So maybe you don't want to mooch, but some people still mooch anyways. But you troll near the bottom, just like a blackmail season. And you're gonna find Chinook in all the usual places in 11. June is probably my favorite month to fish Marine Area 11. The adult summer migrating fish show up right in late July and August, just like they do in 10. Those fish do not bite as well as those fish in June. Those fish in June, a lot of them are headed to their natal streams this year. They're bigger fish, but they are great feeders, biters. So that should be on your calendar. Absolutely. Some Marine Area 11 fishermen, which I know many are probably cursing right now and saying, Kyle, move off of this topic. We have enough people fishing 11. So I apologize, but it's a great opportunity. So, and then look at the structure is going to be just like 10. And as much as different folks got screwed in different areas last year, no one has really is entitled to that more than that feeling, more than Marine Area 11 anglers who really did not get a Chinook season at all. Right in July, it opened July 1st. We caught a lot of sublegals, or at least the test fishing boat did. They caught some jacks, was sort of the rumor, and those got marked down as sublegals. The way the calculations work, the season's over. So it's super unfortunate, and we're trying really hard to avoid that in 2024. But again, part of that will be not opening until the 18th, linking things together with the other areas, and hopefully that will be a solution. and we'll have the full season. We want to be fishing on adult Chinook in August, Marine Area 11. We don't want to be, shut down in July. That's no one wants that. So there you go. Again, feel free to drop a question in chat if you have anything. I'd love for this to be more interactive, be able to handle anything that you throw my way. I will interrupt what I'm doing and answer your question or respond to your comment. So there you go. So you can see the run timing on this. June is looking great, usually right for Chinook, and then it dips a little bit, and then it climbs into that first week of August. It's the best fishing for Chinook in that later summer period. PNW Adventures is asking if I'm getting out for lingcod in the Sound. May 1st is sneaking up. Great question. I have not been too excited about lingcod in the Sound. It's something I want to tackle, but I catch a lot of whitefish in the ocean in places like Marine Area 4, India Bay, and my freezer is full of whitefish by that point. And there's so many other things to do. I don't usually take too much part in the interior Puget Sound lingcod season, although I'm eyeing, a few opportunities. I'll get back to you on that if I make it out. But I usually have my fill of lingcod. Actually, I'm going to talk about halibut towards the end here, and we'll be out probably in Westport if the weather's looking ideal. We'll be out there here soon. Next week, right? Thursday, May 2nd is the halibut opener in the ocean. So we usually try to go after lingcod while we're out there as well. So, all right, let's see. Anyone want to talk about Hood Canal, Puget Sound Salmon Seasons? It's kind of the same deal as it's been. One of these days, I got to get out to Hood Canal and fish that, but there's usually so many other things to do. And 13 is looking like 13 typically does. There's some fish being caught in 13. You can look at the graph on my website, and you can see that there's some fish being caught there, and it's very hit or miss though. They're chasing bait. They're actively feeding. So, you fished 12 exclusive. All right, we'll connect. We'll connect. I would love to join you on fishing Hood Canal and kind of learn the program out there. But just because you posted that, I will look at the graph a little bit closer here. So you get your Hood Canal Chinook pretty consistently throughout late July, early August. The thing about Hood Canal Chinook that's awesome is you have a 4-fish limit and a 20-inch minimum size for hatchery Chinook. I mean, if you have a good program in 12, that seems like something you would want to do. And unfortunately, we can't fish the Skykomish. That came up a lot during North of Falcon. But I mean, I'm hopeful one day we'll get that opportunity back. I love the Skykomish as a bobber fisherman. I was one of the few responsible Skykomish fishermen. I know there was a lot of dumb stuff that happened out there, but honestly, it was one of my favorite fisheries I've ever participated in, fishing the lower river with, just Chinook everywhere, rolling and just waiting for that bobber to go down. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. Hopefully one day we'll get that back. So, okay. I teased it a little bit that there's a graphic I want to share with you about kind of another lens as to why we don't have better seasons in Marine Area 7 and we don't have a Skykomish River fishery. Look, you can read the headlines that say it's to protect ESA listed Chinook, and yes, that's true. We're trying to protect those Chinook in the Snoqualmie, let them bounce back. But there's another lens as well that I think is important to consider. So let me pull up the Snohomish Basin graph here. This is I've called this the impact equity graph. Now I should have done this at a little higher resolution so you could see. Hopefully you can see this now. All right, so What I mean by that is there's an exploitation rate that we talked about earlier, right? Of like how many of these fish are being killed in different fisheries, right? And northern fisheries, everyone should know by now, northern fisheries are the bulk of our impact to our stocks of concern and all of our fish, right? This is Southeast Alaska. This is West Coast Vancouver Island, right? All of these usual places, have a lot of impact on these Chinook. But I've used two different colors to denote what's going on in these fisheries. One, orange for selective fishing, right? If it's got a fin, let it swim. And the blue is non-selective. Now, Canada, Southeast Alaska does not fish selectively right now, although Canada is trending that direction because when they've not had selective fisheries, they've not been marking all of their hatchery fish. They didn't get to fish the last time they had a really low return of wild Chinook. So Canada is moving that direction, which will help our natural stocks a ton. It's going to take several years for them to get there, but they're moving that direction. What I want to draw your attention to is forget the northern fisheries for now. Look at the blue line for Puget Sound and Strait and ocean. It's non-selective. So just keep this in mind. We are getting no river fishery on the Skykomish this year. 14,000 Chinook are headed for the Skykomish in 2024 as returning 4-year adult fish. No river fishery for those Chinook. No opportunity. This orange line represents the selective opportunity. So your Chinook in Puget Sound in 5. I want you to think about this. When 5 closes early, when 9 closes early, when 7 doesn't get any more days, consider that the reason why is because of too much impact on these Skykomish River Chinook, these Snohomish Basin Chinook. It's really the Snoqualmie fish, but whatever. Splitting hairs here. And of all the impact, if you were to stack these two lines together, the reason why you're not getting any more opportunity in Puget Sound or the river is because the ocean and certain fisheries in the Strait are fishing non-selectively. Non-selectively. So, and look, some of you will react to this and go, oh, that's the tribe doing their thing. You know what? No, hold on. Marine Area 3 and 4 have impact on these Skykomish River Chinook. They have coded wire tag recoveries there. They're fishing non-selectively. Okay, the troll fisheries, the troll fisheries that happen in the Strait, commercial troll fisheries, non-selective. They're whacking Chinook. Now, I'm not against non-selective fishing. However, think about this. If you may not know this if you're just a Puget Sound fisherman, but if you fish out of Westport for salmon, your Chinook is non-selective out there as well. You fish out of El Waco, it's non-selective. The Columbia River used to be non-selective. It's now selective on Chinook in a lot of places. But imagine this. Imagine if you were talking the Columbia River for a second. Imagine if the Columbia River had no river fishery. No river fishery. What if they had no retention of Chinook in the Columbia River? And do you think that the ocean areas out in front would be fishing non-selective? No. There's no chance. No chance. Yet here we are. The Snohomish is getting screwed here. It is. No river fishery. The Puget Sound is heavily constrained and heavily impacted. And we've got non-selective fisheries happening out in front in the ocean, in the Strait. And look, some of them are net fisheries. Some of them have, these are treaty rights issues. They're not going to change. But a bunch of them are troll fishing. And some of them are even wreck fishing. And in my experience going through the process in Puget Sound, we did not have an opportunity to talk about ocean options. And as a matter of fact, the amount of commercial impact that is able to happen in the ocean is tied to the wreck fishing ocean quota. I I didn't attend any of those meetings. I didn't see any of that process. We were told that the ocean option was going to be high ocean option. So the maximum amount of chinook was going to be taken in the ocean. The maximum amount of impact would be on Puget Sound stocks of concern. Maximum amount of impact would be on the Skykomish River chinook. And that's just how the process went. So I could be ignorant. I'm fairly new to it, but this is what's going on. And it didn't even come up. I found this on the after North Falcon public process was over. I'm sitting here staring at some of these numbers going, what is going on here? Why are all these fisheries? We've reduced impact on Skykomish chinook to a great degree, as much as possible, while we still getting time on the water in Puget Sound. No freshwater fishery, and I'm like, okay, where's the impact still coming from? And I came across these additional non-selective fisheries. So it's something we got to address in 2025. I'm super disappointed it never even came up as a topic of conversation. But there you go. You should be aware that this is a dynamic that's going on, and I'm not sure exactly the path forward, but I am going to be working with those who I am in contact with on the inside to see what can be done about this, because this is not equitable opportunity for our salmon seasons, in my opinion. All right, let me a couple of comments here since I started my rant. Thank you for letting me go on that rant there. Grandpa fished the Skykomish all his life. Can't say he was the most responsible at the river. He caught the big fish. Yeah, man, the Skykomish was outstanding. I love that fishery. Late login here from Swassen Gobros. I'm going to be on the Swassen Ferry in late July. Headed over to Nanaimo, and I'm taking the boat over to Port Hardy for a few days. That should be a lot of fun. Wondering if northern San Juan's, Alden Bank, Point Roberts area worth a shot. Canadian just purchased a U.S. license. Man, what's going on with that? Like, we usually go up to your area and fish, with the Canadian license. Well, all our stuff is shut down. Are you telling me that during the summer you got to come down to the U.S. side? In all seriousness, though, if you're, I would really, I think that would be a great bet in. Let's see here. Let me go back to Marine Area 7. So for the coho opportunity in Marine Area 7, where are we at here? Okay. Marine Area 7, in the entire month of September, right, is non-selective. So that would be my choice if I was coming down from up north and I wanted to hit the San Juans. That's where I would. That's the time frame I would look at. I'm not as familiar with coho fishing up there. I did do a little bit of it and had success on the west side. The west, I can't remember the name of the point there. I think it's actually one of the areas that's like they want you to avoid now for SRKW, not disrupting their feeding. But that was a lot of fun. I'd love to get to that west side of the San Juan Islands again to do that coho fishing, because that was an absolute blast. The islands are perfect. I mean, they're so beautiful. I'm actually going to be down there to shrimp in end of May and go camping on Jones Island, which is it's a family favorite of ours to go do that. So that'll be awesome. But yeah, thanks for the comment. Thanks for the question. All right, where am I at? I think we're kind of done with the Puget Sound. Oh, I wanted to show you one more graph to really fully piss off the Marine Area 7 fishermen. So I took a there's a graph that takes the average of the S rivers. The S rivers. So this is Stilgwamish, Skagit, Snohomish, and I just took an average of the exploitation rate on them. And you can see there is some freshwater impact, although because the Stilgwamish and Skagit summer fall has a net fishery on it, which is non-selective, obviously, but the actual selective impact is extremely low. And then you can see here that these blue lines, ocean plus Puget Sound Strait, non-selective, exceeds the impact from selective fishing in Puget Sound. So you want to look at why you don't have more selective opportunity on Marine Area 7. Well, yes, it's the ESA listed stocks of concern, but it's also all the non-selective fishing that goes on those fish from the northern fisheries, the ocean, and even the Puget Sound Strait. So I know there was a lawsuit, a year ago or so about it, and it was looking at the transparency of the process between between co-managers and the department. I don't want to comment on that. That's kind of a whole thing. But what about the process of here that between the ocean and Puget Sound? That's kind of my question, because if we're getting shut down in Puget Sound, we're getting shut down on the river, why are we fishing non-selectively anywhere in the path of that? And I get it with Canada, that's a different nation, that's a different that's a whole different challenge. Although that itself is a treaty that we negotiate every 10 years or so, and I'm really hoping we do a better job with that, because these wild Chinook need every bit of help they can get to bounce back and to keep any kind of numbers. Or we're just going to lose these runs. We're going to lose these fish. We're going to lose the opportunity. So we got to be more on top of that, and we got to get our voice out there and be heard and advocate for sustainable fishing practices, not what's going on right now. So, all right, enough about that. All right, so I want to show you guys something else. So I just published this page on pnwbestlife.com earlier this morning. I turned the ads off, make it easier, but they're still here, so I don't know what's up with that. But Puget Sound Strait's halibut fishing report. So no, I've not become a fishing report site. However, I think you should think about creel reports and the information on here like fishing reports, right? So I just want to take a look for a minute how the current halibut seasons are going on in Puget Sound and the Strait, as we're about to get the ocean opener, and some of you have taken part probably in those fisheries as well. But the creel reports are a very unbiased, objective way of looking at what's being caught and how much the effort is, right? So I think if you're not using these tools, and especially if you're newer to the game and you're trying to figure it out, you are shooting yourself in the foot, because these are super helpful of just kind of figure out what the story is. Yeah, you can go get a report on a forum site or social media. Great, someone had a great day halibut fishing. That doesn't mean you're going to have a great day halibut fishing, right? Cool. Someone got skunked doesn't mean you're going to get skunked, because it's just one person or a couple people. So, but if you look at these if you can look at the raw data from WFW, but that will give you a headache. So why not just come over to PNW Best Life, look at the graph, super easy to consume. I started here with 4, but 4 is part of the ocean season. It doesn't open until May 2nd as well. 4 fishes pretty well, but especially later in the season in June, it gets a lot better. If you're wondering how 5 is doing, it looks like it just picked up in the last data point, but Marine Area 5 around CQ Pillar Point, it's been pretty slow. I mean, look at these numbers. This is pretty slow. Now, this is total angler count. So some of these folks are just out there fishing for salmon, right? So may not have been the hardcore halibut fishermen. We don't know. We don't get a breakdown of who fished for what. It's just the total angler count. But if you look at, in general, the success rate, it really picks up more noticeably in June. May can be decent as well. Some of that also could be the weather. Weather is particularly a huge factor in 4. I mean, if you can get out to the main halibut grounds offshore, success is pretty high. If you can't and you're stuck inshore, it's a little tougher. So again, 5 hasn't had huge success relative to the effort it's got. But I think it's gonna get better. 6 on the other hand has been more consistent, right? So you look at the typical average catch per angler, catch per rod. from maybe about 1 in 10 to 1 in 4 has been the odds typically for this side. It's pretty steady throughout the season. If you look at the actual creel graphs here of what catches getting reported, this is pretty solid, right? You see these bluer bars a little bit higher, more 1 to 3, 1 to 4 catch per angler. This is what you want to see. So 6 is still going strong. 7, 7's been decent as well. I know 7 is a little harder to figure out if you're new. If you're new, you want to go out to the banks in Marine Area 6. That's where the best catch rate usually happens. But in 7, you're looking for similar structure, but it's a little. If you're new to it, you might need to go with someone to help you figure it out. Marine Area 9, bless your heart. Some people are catching. Look at this. There was a day in Marine Area 9 where 4 halibut were caught. That's a pretty good day. I don't catch a lot of halibut in Marine Area 9, but there'll be a few. You can kind of see the averages here. Not a lot of halibut caught in Marine Area 9. Marine Area 10, I don't even know what to make of this, but it's true. People have caught halibut in Marine Area 10 before. It has happened. If you're going out there to fish for halibut, bless your heart. I don't know what to tell you. I have no tips for you. Good luck. So, all right. So that's real quick on halibut. The key with halibut is always it comes down to weather. Can you get to the ideal halibut grounds? And that's a lot of that has to do with the marine area forecast. The halibut fishing season is probably the most dangerous fishing season we have, and I always like to advocate for people to go to get educated. If you're new, if you're going out to the ocean, you're going out to the Strait, go to the pnwbestlife.com marine weather page for marine weather safety page. For I haven't, when I sat down to write that page, I researched a lot of different places and looking for tips, because fishermen, we're anglers, right? We're kind of a unique breed. We want to push the limit. If it's safe enough to go fishing, that's what we want. We're not just trying to avoid every little bit of chop, every little bit of swell. We're trying to get out there, get our fish, and come back safely. So it's kind of devoted towards that mindset. And there's not a lot of resources, not a lot of free resources out there that are positioned that way. So give that a look if you're planning to go out and you're new at navigating marine weather safety. Go check that out. Check that resource out. But let me show you where we are in the forecast here. Although NOAA usually updates around 3 p.m. PST, and so this is actually a little stale. But let's look at the Westport forecast here for So it's been pretty big water out there, but I like that it's calming down. So if you look at Wednesday, west swell is down to 4 feet. I like that a lot. I think that's if that trend continues and the macro pattern looks like it will, I think Thursday, the opener, is going to be solid. And matter of fact, let me just pull that up, since I have I know that they've updated it. Let's see here. Okay, all right. Okay, so right now they're saying west swell 5 feet. So they marked it up a foot, and in Nia Bay it's around 5 feet as well. So we'll see how, if that changes, it gets better. As long as we don't have a lot of wind chop, I'll do 4 or 5 feet. In my boat, but we'll see. We'll see. The tides look good. You should be able to get over the bar first thing in the morning on an incoming tide from leaving Westport. So things aren't too crazy there. That might be a good opportunity. So keep our eye on that. And then lastly, it's about to be shrimping season. So that's kind of my last topic here is the thing that I advocate people do is put all your pots out in the garage or whatever, put them all out and inspect the heck out of them. Something broke last year on your pots or your bait barrel, or something went wrong, and you forgot about it because it's been a year. And get the pots out, inventory your bait, make sure you're all dialed in. You don't want to be trying to fix things last minute. So especially if you have to order something online, your window of getting that shipped and arriving is going to be running out next week. So take a look at that. We'll talk more if I do another one of these live streams before we go shrimping, our shrimp openers. We'll talk more about shrimp, but I really love that we have 3 days back to back to back. Puget Sound, Hood Canal. That's pretty awesome. That I'm super excited about that opportunity. You can check out my shrimp page here, pnwbestlife.com. It's one of the top pages on the blog. If you just go look at it there. But you can kind of see what our shrimp seasons are and what the average shrimp wrangler is historically on some of these marine areas, and give you an idea of how to approach that, how to plan for that. So we are wrapping up, though. We've been at it for an hour, and I'm running out of steam here. So appreciate everyone who joined, took the time to comment, and hope to see you on the water. Stay safe. Feel free to connect with me. PNW Adventures, let's connect on that Hood Canal salmon trip. I'd love to get out there with you and check that out, meet up. And so, thanks for watching. Give it a like, give it a little bit more attention, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already on there. And we will hopefully do this again soon. And love the feedback. Any feedback you can give me how to make this more valuable. I'll keep doing it if it's helping a few of you out in planning for your summer salmon season, halibut, shrimp, whatever. We do it all here. So anything you can do to be more valuable to you. And that extends to the website, features, digital tools. That's really what we're trying to do. That's the value we're trying to bring to you, is that's unique, So, take care, tight lines. Hope to see you on the water. Take it easy.